On this week's episode of The Economy of Nothing, we talk about Bitcoin and the economy of choices. Fight Club. We talked about common side effects. What else happened this week on The Economy of Nothing? Seth Rogan on Apple TV and his new show that neither of us watched, and how Jared Leto's a little bitch. All right.
Fuck Jared
That's
Leto.
it for this week. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Economy of Nothing. I'm here, the man, the myth, the legend, aka Mr. Green, aka Business Mike, aka the original Mike Allen, the man, the myth, the legend. I am followed here today by my co-host named Mike Bedont AKA Captain Tracy. Mike, say hello.
Hello. Welcome to the podcast. Something that has been called one of the most interesting things on YouTube in the last 3 or 4 days.
Which is great. I mean, I think our viewership is up at an all-time high. Which, we're at 100 views?
I wouldn't even want to say,
no.
I couldn't count that high personally. You know what I mean? I'm not
100,000? Yeah.
I'm not one of these ivory tower billionaires talking about 3 digits. You know what I mean, Mike? What, you too good for a 20? You know?
Speaking of being too good for a 20, seems like everybody is these days. I am getting so tired of walking into businesses and I'll have cash. When I get out cash now, it's a special thing. It's like, oh man, I won cash, or maybe I won poker or something, which has been a while. But I'll have $200 of cash on me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna spend this cash because it's like it doesn't count, right? It's not in my bank account. So especially when I win it, it seems like the only time that I can't spend cash is when I've won cash. It's like everybody's like, no, we don't take cash. Well, we don't have enough change for a 20. Like, who the fuck doesn't have enough change for a 20 anymore? That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, I just don't believe that. You're telling me McDonald's doesn't have enough change for a 20, Mike? That's ridiculous.
They don't see, I feel exactly the opposite. I think what they're doing is fighting that. When I got cash, I'm so much more frugal because I'm like, no, look at this real money in my hands, man. You know what I mean? Whereas credit cards,
just as fake as all the other stuff.
I know, but I've said this before, right? Like, it's a lot more easy to steal cash. Cash is the easiest thing to steal. Imagine if you had to steal gold bars or coins, that'd be harder than cash, right? You know what would be even harder than gold bars and gold coins? Go the exact opposite way and have it be absolutely nothing, right? Like have it just like a computer screen say that one number's higher than the other, right? It makes sense, but I think it's bad for all these businesses. Like the businesses that I go to that are taking cash, I feel like are like, oh yeah, it's less money if you use cash.
All right, here's a hot take, okay? I want to know something. I think the reason that a lot of businesses and just in general, the government was trying to get away from free cash in general, right, is because of the ability to launder or counterfeit money was a lot higher when there's actual bills out on the market. So you reduce the amount of free cash in the system over time, then that would be maybe you shouldn't be putting your cash in a bank, because I feel like over time it would only get harder to make more money as if it was controlled by the computer systems,
honestly,
right?
This is my, I'm in the woods in a cabin right now with a fucking tinfoil hat on, right? But I'm like, no, I feel like the best investment someone could make is putting some cash in a tin. I'm not even like there is something like someone will take cash longer than they will take your credit card, right? Do you know what I mean? If something if there's a natural disaster or something, you need to have some cash, right?
Oh yeah.
Because
that's what they always say, they got $1,000 cash on hand at any given moment.
Yeah,
I think
right.
That's the rule.
Well, because everyone wants.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of it's like Siri or like Alexa or one of these things, right? It feels like it never works because it has to work. Cash works all the time, except for the crazy scenarios now where people are starting to not take cash. Cash always works, right? There's no there's never an outage of cash. You'll never run into someone in the United States of America that doesn't want your cash, right? They'll
That's true.
It's some sort of weird company policy if they're not taking your cash. I bet if you had cash, that cashier would be like, oh, I'll put it on my credit card and take your cash right now, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe not
Yes. Oh,
everywhere, but right,
and
like,
speaking of this whole topic, that brings me on to this. Actually, like we're going to talk about our first topic today, and I think you as Mike Bedont and also you as Captain Tracy can give me your takes on Bitcoin, and I want to just know,
is
like,
there like a
like
current?
we so Bitcoin, it has been listed as a commodity and technically as a digital currency. They compare it to digital gold because of a store of value. But I mean, the way it became that over time, it's mostly by luck or happenstance or billionaires pumping it. You used to work for one of them, Michael Saylor. But the point being is, since you were so close to it, you even built videos for Bitcoin, Mike, as you like you did in your job. So if there's anyone that knows more about Bitcoin, it's you. And I guess my question is, I don't want to go bullish or bearish because I think that changes so quick in this environment. But what do you, do you value it at all as any type of like denominator that holds a value? Like, could you see it being something in the future? Maybe not. Or do you think that it's totally a scam right now? I'd like to hear your
I
take
I
as
think
you and as the captain, because the captain, I feel like Captain Tracy would be okay about it, but he wouldn't like it. You know?
so. I mean, in the economy of nothing, like the cartoon, right? I think that like obviously all of the currency is digital in the distant future, right? Like I think that like, and I think there's stuff to play with there, but like I think it comes down to two questions or two problems, and they're not just like Bitcoin specific. They're like specific to a lot of this stuff, and of course, the first one's pretty obvious, right? Is like the transactions just aren't happening, right? Like the because it's for whatever reason, right? You see Bitcoin
Right.
ATMs
Yeah.
places or whatever, but like stores aren't taking it, and stores aren't going to take it because like people don't like that, like the Japan system of things costing like 10,000 yen or whatever, right? And I
That's
don't think
true.
people
Yeah.
would want to like go to the grocery store and be like, okay, I'm going to spend 1/8/10,000th of a Bitcoin right now, right?
So
No one wants to do
yeah,
that
so
math in their
can I
head,
ask you a
right?
question though? Can I ask you a question though? I have a theory on what they're gonna do with it.
Okay.
Because if you look at what Coinbase is doing, and they're not the first to do it, they're just the first the first entity that is like on the stock exchange that everybody trusts in that way, and that's Coinbase. And they're doing crypto credit cards that give you like 4% back in Bitcoin, which would be like what you said would be like, I think Bitcoins are in Satoshi, so it'd be like, yo, you got back 0.9 zeros and a one Satoshi, like on every purchase, right? So I think they're just gonna shoehorn this in, right? Because whether you like it or not, it's so scarce, and that the people that actually use the network, because half of the supply is like in a landfill and they're never going to get it out, that in itself makes it more valuable over time, I guess. But that's just the way it feels to me, is that the credit card companies, because it's a decentralized network and then the credit card companies are going to allow people to get it, it'll eventually just get it's kind of like making, in a way, you're decentralizing your own currency by adding it to your currency, but you're also not, you're making it less decentralized too by joining. It kind of works both ways in the argument. But either way, I think it helps you in some way either pay off the debt or to keep the whole system going.
Well,
Don't you think?
two wildly different things right there. Keeping the whole system
I know,
going.
I know,
I
but
think
that's
it
what
would
it feels
definitely,
like.
yes,
I mean,
like my, yes, it is another thing for people to say that we're gaining value somehow, right? Like we have to constantly
right.
say that we're gaining value, right? Each iPhone has to gain value over the other one, despite them not being any better. And like as a society, we need, I think the other week I said something like, well, like what's better? They're going to have to sell us something of more value than AI, right? And like, it's one of those things where like, the value has to come from somewhere. And I think that's like where like my second question comes in, right? Of like this, when people are like, well, it's like a digital gold or whatever. I'm like, not really, right? Like gold, like it's digital gold in the way that like gold had value because like rich
It
people
was shiny,
would
right?
pay for it, right? Rich people
Yeah,
would
and it was
pay for
shiny.
gold, right? And like,
Yeah.
but the thing that Bitcoin doesn't have that gold did have is a universal and centuries long tradition of rich people liking it and paying money for it, right? So much so that people were able to start like standardize around how much it was valued by people, right? But like,
Mm-hmm.
that's just not what is happening here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, the problem is like the rise of the gold standard was decentralized, right? It was fucking global. Everywhere there was gold, people were like, "Yeah, cool, but you know what I mean? Like there was like I'm sure that's not totally true, right? But I for the most part, like gold fucking spent. I think if a place didn't have gold, you showed up with gold, and a rich person said, "Can I buy that from you, or I'll kill you and take it?" Right? Like that's what happened when someone showed up with gold. I think. But like that's not what's happening with Bitcoin, right? It is
Yes.
being wedged in, right? And in that
Mm-hmm.
way, but it's then not being a currency, right? It's being fucking PayPal or something, right? It's like
Which we already have PayPal. Yeah. So.
and like no one wants to store their money in PayPal or in Venmo, right? You pull that shit out right away. So
Right.
like what Bitcoin and these Bitcoin exchanges and stuff are going to be are like hold my money in a different currency that I can then like exchange for like limited goods and services. And like I guess I'm hoping I'll get more investment on that than keeping that money in a Bank of America account like along with a checking account where I can just transfer it back and forth easily, which like isn't a choice someone would make, but we aren't living in an economy of choices, right? So like sure it can happen. This as you said,
An
the
economy
system needs
of
to keep
choices.
going, right? Like
Economy of choices, Bitcoin, and the economy of choices. That's going to be the when I do the intro later
yeah.
again. It's going to be Bitcoin and the economy of
That was pretty
choices.
I think I went pretty like sorry to pull the veil back, listeners, but I thought that was a pretty good thing I just did there.
I loved it. I was really glad that you leaned into it because I thought you were going to fight me at first. All right, so we know how. I believe that was Mike Bedont's take. What would Captain Tracy's take, your character in the Economy of Nothing cartoon show, have it on? Because you had, I mean, if let's say the Nothing Corp is the company town, it's the thing that everybody's like using their currency or whatever they deem
Yeah.
worthy to buy goods and services. But then there is a decentralized currency like Bitcoin in the show. If there is, what is it? And two, would I assume it would have the same principles as Bitcoin? Like he would like it in some ways.
Well, I think the captain, I assume, would have the same like general problem with it that like I guess I have, or like will give it to him. It's like there's an idolatry happening to money, where like the value of money is money in a way that like no one's like, oh, $100, that's a good or service in my mind or something, right? It's like, oh, well, that's $100. Oh, what's it getting on an return rate of this or that? It's like, oh, well, wasn't the point of this like, so those people have to be hungry because they don't have like $100 for like fish or whatever, but like you need to spend your $100 on getting $200, but we can just use that $100 to get fish for them now, right, or something like
So
that, you
if
know?
I look, so let's say this. Let's say this. Okay, let's say economy of nothing. This is how I think the captain would look at it. This is actually how Mr. Green would look at it in the
Well,
economy of
Mr.
nothing.
Green be like, money's money, baby, right? Like,
Yeah, but I would look at it still different in the way that yeah, Bitcoin is only worth what. Let's say we go to different planets or something that a
well,
society that even has like currency deems Bitcoin's worth. So it's like we go to a rock planet when everybody's like, oh no, we really like tungsten over here. And you're like, okay, well, this isn't going to help you. And then, like, you go to another planet and they trade in like fruit or something. They're
well,
going to be like,
Mike,
what the fuck is this? I'm just saying it's only good in places where
oh my
people
God. Well,
take Bitcoin and
I just figured it
well, I was
out.
gonna say
The
there's no one thing that makes a universal truth of like the conversion rate in a economy of nothing actual universe of
yes, and
planets.
of
There's
course,
no like Confederate like table, right?
and now
Is there?
here like so like every right every planet has their own coin, right? And
Right.
so like
Yeah.
how do you compare the value of them all being like, oh well, these are all independent like created coins, and there can only be so many of them, right? But that would be true of every single planet and all of the coins, right? So like
Yeah.
so what would every planet discovered would then have like, yeah, you'd have to have like their local I don't.
I think I think every currency except the Nothing Corp, because the Nothing Corp reaches the universe, right? So every alternative currency in this joke, we could use Bitcoin. Like
It's
everywhere
too
you go,
topical.
Bitcoin loses value because the planet that you're dealing with doesn't deem it valuable. But there's a Bitcoin planet where they
Because
deem it valuable.
you could think that like there's like this like the central planet or something thinks that it's found like this divine algorithm for like money or something, right? Like digital currency. And then like, but that's the algorithm that every single other fucking planet figured out. So every time they get there,
Yeah,
it like inflates the shit. They're because there's just
they're
like,
like, oh,
there's just
yeah.
double of everything. So every time like I mean, obviously it's like real long
So
sequences,
every
but
time
for
we
the idea,
use something like use Bitcoin in their system, then that's more money in their supply, and then everybody like raises their prices because they're like, well, that's more money in the whole supply because they paid us. We have to
yes,
overpay them
but
because
then
we
you
have too
have
many Bitcoin.
yes, but then you have like in what in the rub has to be for the cosmos there. Like one entity is saying like, oh, because there's 4 planets here and they all did the same thing, that means there's like 4 different bitcoins, so we need to get paid 4 times. Whereas like on the back end, it's like, oh no, those 4 mean that's still only one actual number, so you're only getting paid once or something. You know what I mean? You're getting like I like get you like twice or some shit like that.
Yeah, it'd be like like the convenience fee they add on at the end of using an app that was gonna do it anyways.
Yeah.
Like
I
it was
mean,
gonna just rate. They're like, but because you used an
that's
app,
the word.
there's a
That's like
$3 convenience fee. Yeah,
that's that's the real problem, right? It's like I sit here and I'm like, what is a worse future? A future where like everything's in one app or everything's its own individual app, right? And like I want to say it's
yeah.
where everything's its own app, but I feel like that's what Google wants me to think, right? Google wants like
Oh, if
Google
they
and
could do
Facebook.
it all in one app,
Wouldn't
dude,
it be easier if it was all in one app? I'm like, no, it would be easier if no one had a fucking app. Frankly, it would be easier if it was
it'd be
websites and phone
easier.
numbers.
It would be easier if it went back to software. If we're all being honest,
But
when you had to pay like, yeah, man, life was better when you had to walk in a store and be like, I'm gonna buy a video game for $50. You didn't realize how good you had it
what
back then.
about?
You
Oh
really
my
didn't.
god, there's like sub apps, right? So like
Oh,
if
God, they already have that, I
right?
think.
Like you at
Yeah.
some point, right? Like you have to imagine like you have your app, like you have to choose like one of the 3 phone makers, right? You have your you have your Google phone, you have your Amazon phone,
iPhone.
and you'll have your
Is there an
iPhone, right?
Amazon phone now? Is there an Amazon
When
phone now?
there will be an if there isn't, there will. Come
There
on,
will be, yeah.
like
There
or
will
like
be.
or for some reason I don't know, but like or they're making too
Do you
much
think
money,
they're
or they're
gonna make a
making
Tesla phone?
30% off of every phone sold on Amazon, so they don't get. I don't know, but
I mean, at a certain point, everything has to be made because you
yeah,
have to
but like
grow, and they're
but
not
then
gonna
like
come up
if
with new
yeah,
ideas.
so then you just have
They're
your
just gonna
on your
copy. Yeah.
but on your Apple phone, then you have your Amazon app, right? And at some point, they're gonna you would assume that they're gonna want to like centralize that, and then you have to go in the Amazon app and pick whether you want the Amazon Prime app in the Amazon app or the Amazon shopping, right? Like, or is that too streamlined? Is that too good of an idea?
Yeah, they wouldn't do that. It's too good of an idea. Honestly, the only thread Apple has at this point is just like, guys, remember that like we if 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 Microsoft is known for like its business suite, like PowerPoint and Excel, then Apple is known for the desktop because it just gave you a screen to put apps on. That's all it was, the mobile desktop. That's all it is. And it's still it's still the
I would
goat.
love a different computing experience, Mike. Like
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say I'm bullish on, as much as I hate to admit it, because of Meta coming out with the glasses, the AR glasses. That's the
we've
only
been
thing that's an
down this
actual
road
product that's
before,
different.
Mr. Green.
I know, but I know, but that's the only. It's not gonna do anything in the sense of
But
like
it's
give you
not
like
new.
more stuff and fun. It's just going to do the same stuff, but you're not gonna have a phone. You're just gonna have
Buddy
it
of
on
mine
your fucking
or like
eyeballs all the time.
pre-ordered the Google glasses in high school, dude. Like, you know what I
Did
mean?
they
Like,
suck? I didn't even know they made Google Glasses back then.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. This shit's not new and it's not gonna work and it's not gonna be good. Like,
Well, why won't
and
they make it work, Mike? How do we make it work? How do we make it work? How
because
do we make it work?
like, cause answer me this question. What do you want exactly?
That's a good point. I don't want anything.
Yeah, it can't work because people don't want fucking TVs on their eyes. Like,
Well then, okay. Basic. All right. Then really, there's only a couple things that anyone could want at this point in society. I think one of them is video games that actually have like heart and soul in them again, which you're not going to get anymore. They're all bought up by the big guys, and nobody knows how to code anymore. So, so I mean, maybe like 10, 15 years from now, we'll get another sequel indie game that's cool, but we're never going to get good graphics, good games again. I don't think. I honestly don't think.
yeah, I mean, the interesting thing you said is no one codes anymore, and I was like, I'm sure that's not true, right? But it is true that like so many of the games are on like the same like a lot of it's like Unreal and stuff.
Like,
So like a
yeah,
lot
it's the same toolkit. Yeah.
you think to like the old Xbox arcade stuff, and it all was like very different. But a lot of times like someone will be like, oh, this like indie game or whatever. I'm like, oh, it kind of like looks and feels like the other ones because like they're using like the same engines and
The
stuff. But
same. Yeah. And it has the same, like,
but what are the
the
other what
same
are the other two things? You said there's three things.
fro. Oh,
You said you said there's
you
three things
derailed me.
like tech wise that people are looking for video games, but they're never gonna be any good
Oh,
video games. They're not gonna make a new phone, and like
yeah.
there's no idea for a T. I don't even have an idea for another TV, dude. I don't know how the fuck you beat a rectangle that's big and thin. I don't like. Do you know what I mean? I don't
So I
understand
was gonna
what
say
it would
that
be.
the second thing people, I think, massive, like on a massive scale, people will want is like projected hologram, either TV or a phone that projects it up, like kind of like in the Tony Stark video, where you put something down, it projects it up. You can see it,
Yeah,
and you do all the.
you
Don't
haven't
think it's
thought it through,
possible though.
Mike.
I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, and you don't want to see a bunch of shit. Why would you want to kind of see your wall through a hologram? Like, why wouldn't you just want to back to the image? But like, it really does seem that there's a hard line between science fiction and science fact in our world that like would require a breakthrough that were real that it doesn't even seem like people are chasing, right? Like real quantum computing, which is not a thing that it's like the big tech companies seem interested. They seem very interested in like trying to name something it, right? But they don't seem interested in like figuring it the fuck out. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's what they're spending all this money on, and not big yachts and shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't. The thing is, they're trying to find quantum computing, but they don't even know how you would use it in today's world. Like quantum computing, if you were actually to crack it, would crack. It would help solve answers nobody even knows to ask. So,
But
point being, is it
like
really
what?
going to solve anything? I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, right? Because like, what are the problems, right? Like war and food. Do you know what I mean? Like we're not
Yeah,
solving what problems are we solving? Like when
I think everything's kind of designed to just keep going, right? Because I
no,
mean,
like
think about
it's
it, right?
so
Like,
funny you said that at the beginning, and you were like, "Well, you could at least pay off the debt or keep the system going." I'm like, it's all just keeping the system going, right? Like because
right,
of the
but
debt, we can't
my
stop.
question is it always been designed that way, or is there like a stopping line in history? So
2012.
here's the no. So here's the one thing that there's a fact, like this sounds terrible, but the greatest like achievements as a species, as like Homo sapiens, comes from when we are like at the precipice of war or at the end of war. That's when like breakthroughs in technology happen. When we're like pressed for survival. That's just the reality.
Yeah.
And so really I think that's really the only way you kind of jumpstart again is when there's like the brink of extinction again comes on, and then everybody gets their shit together, we figure it out. Like, I think that's all this is climate change fight is. It's like, we're not there yet. We don't have to worry about it. But when we're there, we're going to worry about it. And we're
Yeah.
going to do everything we're to solve it. Yeah.
And of course, the proof is in that we're not willing to care about it now, so we can't believe that we'll care about it then, right? But like,
Right.
but yeah, man, I don't know. It's one of the, it's hard not to get like sound dour or whatever when you're talking about it. But like, yeah, man, I don't know. It's been whatever 24 years since the budget was balanced in America. It's 25 years of like it not being. So like it would take at least 25 years to like get back, right? But no, it wouldn't, because I assume we're being charged interest. Right? So like,
Yeah.
where's that money going to come from, right?
Did you see there was a
I sound like I'm a member of the fucking Tea Party, Mike.
there was a great video, and it was like these two someone had animated with AI these two AI aliens, and they were just like doing a podcast show, and they were like talking about humans, and there's like, they live on planet Earth. The entire globe is like $43 trillion in debt or something, and he's like, who do they owe that money to? It's a fucking planet. Like, how does a planet owe money to something? It's like from a globe, and you're like, yeah, and it's like, and then with inflation, basically it was just like, we owe money to someone, we don't know who, because we've always owed money to someone. Like, you're just like, that's kind of a good, when you think about it from that perspective, it is kind of stupid and silly. And like, do you think that, I don't know. Do you think that like every person in power knows this secret, or is everyone like, no, that person possibly can't think like this? Are we the only two people that think like this? Maybe.
I'm
I don't
sure.
know.
I'm sure we're not the only two people that think like this. But
Right, but if everybody flipped and was just like, you're absolutely right, I don't have to care about bills or taxes as much. Like, if everybody flipped and was just came to a conclusion, like, knowing everything would be fine if we all didn't pay for stuff. Like, do you think it could happen? I'm just curious. Like, do you think the goodness in our hearts would like keep the society going for a little bit? Like, I think it would eventually decay. It would. I don't know, Mike.
Well, you have this I don't know, empire problem, for a lack of a better term, right? Where like, no, where in America is self-sustainable, right? Like,
yeah.
like we think about, like, you think about some island nation or something, then you're like, well, they have to have all their potatoes shipped in or something, and we're like, all your potatoes shipped in? It's like, first of all, America has most of its everything shipped in, right? But like, even just like, okay, in your town, right? How long could your town survive with no shit from any other towns, right? Like, probably not that long, right? Like, how much food's in the grocery store, right? Like, right? Like,
that's a good point.
Even if you live in a town with like a bunch of farms or something, right? Like, they send their food somewhere else, right? It's not like if we stopped paying tomorrow, there would be a bunch of food there.
But hear me out, though. If everybody like all of a sudden was like,
everyone would have to keep going to work.
But would they, if you like, okay, if everybody's like, I'm not paying for my house anymore, the only thing I would pay for is like groceries, but not pay for all the stuff that they have. It's not like somebody's gonna come and fucking take all that shit. If everybody stopped, I'm just saying, if you did like a full on revolt, like, could you reset some stuff and not pay anything?
Yeah, you're
like,
talking about a revolution.
All the buildings.
Yes, yeah, the revolution.
Like they built at the end of Fight Club, they blow up all the credit card like buildings and stuff.
We'll
Project
get to
Mayhem. Which brings me to my next topic: Fight Club and how very relevant it is today. Second watch go around. Like, Mike, when did Fight Club come out? Was it like 1997?
Fight Club. All right, is this the intro to the? Should we do a better intro to the bit? Anyway, 1999. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll do a little markers. Like, Flight Club 1999. We rewatched it for the second time to see if it still holds up. And after initial thoughts, kind of cheesy, but still kind of good because most movies suck today. Mike, what did you think about it?
Um, I think I thought it was okay. I think that like I think if
Yeah.
someone comes to me and says Fight Club's great, I'd go, I don't know, I don't think so. And if someone's like Fight Club's bad, I would be like, oh, it's not bad, right? But like I understand like I what I'm taken with is like the idea of Fight Club, right? As like someone who like I don't know, I probably didn't see it till like it was out on like DVD and stuff, and everyone was like, Fight Club is one of those movies in my mind where like dudes were like, you gotta see Fight Club. You know, like everyone like, you gotta
Well,
see
I was
Fight
gonna
Club.
say, I was like, I think when we initially saw Fight Club because we were just young and stupid, we thought it was just about fighting, and like you walk away from it and you're like, oh, it's actually turns into this whole other thing. But
So
older
I
watching it,
liked
you're like,
Fight
oh, okay, I kind of get it.
I guess in that context, and I don't know
Okay.
if this is my second time seeing Fight Club or not, but I liked it more than I remembered liking it. Uh because I still prefer like the first like pre-Project Mayhem, it's just like a brisker movie that's like just like la di da or whatever, right? And then I
Mhm.
think it falls apart at the end, right? I think the movie doesn't with the
I
Project
think what
Mayhem stuff
people
doesn't
used
go
to,
great. But
yeah, I think what people who are fans of the book really didn't like the movie because they feel like in the part when he's like, "I am Jax of Dubla Oblongata," and he's like always talking like as like the body part, like that was a big part of the book that like was just kind of like touched on in the movie, but oh, because apparently that is a theme that runs throughout, and apparently when we jump to Project Mayhem in the book, it's not it's more subtle than that huge shift. Like he starts to notice things happening slowly over time, and it's a longer where in this it's
there
just like
like there's
Tyler Durden's a superhero, like on
there
the other his
yeah,
other
there
personalities like working nonstop. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there's some lines in there where that are like some guys like what does he say? Murder, this isn't what Project Mayhem's about. And I'm like, dude, say those words again. You know, it's a bit
Yeah, you're
silly,
like,
but like, I mean, so here's a question. I, I don't know how you want to. I don't know if you want to break down the plot. I don't know what your idea was for
I
Mr.
would
Green's
I
silver
would say
screen critique here, but uh,
yes. I
I
wanted to get your thought on the plot.
um, what? Okay, so I'm just gonna like go past that. I'm just gonna say something for the fans, right? And we don't have to get into
Okay.
this at all, but I
Okay.
just want
Okay.
people to consider that like there is. I wonder if Michael Weston is at all influenced by Tyler Durden, because Tyler Durden is technically like a voice in someone's head, just going like, if you mix these things together, you can make a bomb.
That's fair to say.
But I thought that this is the only outlet I'll ever have to bring that up. And another goofy thing to say before we get into maybe like some other more serious critiques. And I don't the internet's broken, so it was hard for me to tell. Does anyone else think Brad Pitt in this movie kind of looks like a monkey? Just a little bit. A
Is that
slight
because
Diddy Kong.
he was in the movie 12 Monkeys
So
during the same time?
I googled the
Yeah.
Brad Pitt look like a monkey, just like not like terribly like a monkey, just a little slightly Diddy Kong ish, and I was like,
I
but
think
of
it's the
course,
red. The
all
red and the karate make him look like a
I
monkey.
I think that's what it is. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I apologize to a guy who I think isn't a very good guy.
He also
Um,
can't really grow a beard. He can only grow that like trash, like
oh,
fucking
we'll
tip of
we'll
the mustache,
we'll
tip of the
talk about
chin
it, Mike.
stash.
But
I mean, listen, Brad Pitt,
those were
great
the
looking guy,
Captain's
but I don't
goofy
think I don't think he
guts.
I don't think he can grow like a really big beard, can he? I mean, he might be able to. I don't
I
know.
mean, I have no. I think most people are wigged up generally in Hollywood. So,
That's
um,
fair.
all right, Mike.
Well, those people that like try to grow beards, but like it just kind of looks like like
Like Joe Dirt,
whiskers, you know.
it grows in all white
Yeah,
trash like that. Yeah.
yeah, it's all patchy and shit. You know,
That's
you
why
just like
I don't grow a beard. I don't think it comes in very well. I think I look all right with a 5 o'clock shadow, but I don't think this can't go in. I'm not going
you
to
could.
draw a five
Well, to be
o'clock
fair,
shadow.
you can grow a very nice neck beard.
I hate it anyway. But Mike, I wanted to ask you, when talking about the plot of this movie, I
Hmm.
found you mentioned it earlier at some point. Erase. I wrote it down. Erase the debt record? Question mark. Like, Helen, are you aware of the what the debt record is? Could you explain it to me from an economic or an economic angle? Because I just don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant of finance. I don't know. But if you could tell me where in each building of a credit card company they keep their debt record room, I would be so
Yeah.
fucking happy to know.
Um. Well, global debt surpassed
Okay, Mike.
324 trillion in the first quarter of
I was, Mike,
2025.
Mike, Mike.
I
I'm
know.
talking
I know.
about.
I'm just being a dick because
Okay.
you're being a dick. All right. I know that it's a stupid fucking premise, but back then it was like the 90s, dude. People they were still doing like,
I know, but
you know,
this brings
coupon
me
books.
to a question I have about the movie as a whole. Like, or as like, if we talk about Tyler Durden in being like a fictitious character in his brain, like, is the whole thing in his brain? Because as like all the Project Mayhem stuff starts like going and going at the end, and once you get to like that rom-com ending or whatever, like it's like, is all of this in his head? He didn't blow all this shit up. Did any of this happen? Do you know what I mean?
No, I think it all happened.
But like we know some
Yeah.
of it didn't happen, right? Because like
What are you talking about?
with
What
Tyler
didn't happen?
Durden's not real, right? Like
Yeah, but like he's such a convincing enough. Like he convinced all those people as his other personality, Tyler Durden. So it's like he is technically real, and he thinks everybody thinks the real version of him is Tyler Durden. The people that
but
come when they're
then
like they said that you'd say that they said that you'd say
I
that.
know,
It's
but he's
because
an unreliable narrator because of anyway.
I'm not saying that like
Okay,
that's
I
not
was just
my fault
curious
that
if
they
you.
didn't direct that correctly, but yeah,
Well, I was
no,
just curious because
there's a great scene. Can I just say? Can I just say? There's a great scene
yeah,
when he goes to the police office. When he goes to the police office, and he's talking about one detective, the one detective who does check it out. And when he leaves the room, there's three other detectives that were
this
like,
is the scene.
"Yeah." He's like, "We think this is just amazing that you would do this and sacrifice for the cause." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "You're Tyler Durden." He's like, "We're part of Project Mayhem. You said that you would show up here as you and try to confess to do these things, and then we had to stop you and take a nut. They were going to cut off his fucking nut, and they almost did it. And like, this is the guy that convinced him that it was going to happen,
I
and
know
blah blah blah.
this is
So it's like you're like, okay, it's very clear to me in that moment. It should be that everybody he's met that is a part of this, he's met as Tyler Durden and not as the other character. Yeah, which
I
I
know
don't,
that I
and I think
think
that's why in the books when he keeps going, I am Jack something something, it's like him reminding himself that he's not Tyler. It's like he ends up doing it to himself, and that's how he kind of breaks out of it. I think that's how it goes. I could be stretching, but there's something with the book and
okay.
him
Well, this
saying those
isn't a
things that
book
help him come
podcast,
back.
Mike, but
I didn't read the
but
fucking
no,
book,
no,
Michael.
that's the scene that's the scene that like had me like going. But first of all, the thing that I think first had it was like it was so what all three of these guys. I mean, I know it's a movie, it's all movie, right? But and then like the guy right in the other room didn't hear anything, and then also he comes back like a second later and he's like, "Yeah, this checks out." I was like, "What could this guy possibly? This might all be going on in this guy's head,
They're
right? Like
blowing
this
up
might
credit
not be
card
real,
building
right?"
debt records. There's no way he found out anything about, yeah, this checks out in like
Like
the
it was
short time he
so
was
it was
gone.
so
There was
and
no
I
way.
wrote it down. It's not in this notebook right here, but like the things he tells them is like there's a dead body behind the house behind the house, and in the basement there's stuff. And he comes back, he's like, some of this checks out, let's go to the house. And I'm like, you'd have to go to the house to check this shit out, I think.
Yeah, the only thing that I think you could think of is like nobody's seen Bob, the dude with the tits that died.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
that,
yeah, like
that
that's the only thing that you could possibly say that they're like he hasn't been home in 2 days, so maybe he's dead. That's
yeah.
about it.
I yeah, no,
Yeah,
I don't think that was like I don't think the intention of that scene was to make me like question how real the rest of it was, but I was sitting there wondering like, well, I don't know, like maybe there's a
yeah. I
bigger
mean, I
theory.
think at the end of the day, it was kind of there's more of that explains it the second go round when he talks about he's in the hotel room and he's like, it's called a something switch. When all of a sudden, like his like body just like gives out, and then he wakes up next to the phone, and the
Yeah.
phone's off the hook, showing that he's dialed like a ton of stuff. That's kind of showing it too. They show it when like Marla, the first time you watch it, like that. Oh, it's not him fucking her;
Oh,
it's Tyler fucking her.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's some like there's some clever get like I think the movie's really clever in the fact that like there are some like things that like I noticed like watching it this time. I guess I didn't remember. I remembered that like Tyler Durden's not real, but that's like kind of the only thing I remembered about it. And there's like an interesting thing in the voiceover he does, like when he first meets Marla or whatever. He's like, and that's the first time I met Marla. Or she says, my name's Marla, and then he goes, and that's the first time I met Marla. And then when he goes to meet Tyler Durden, he's like, and my name, and he goes, and he cuts off before Tyler Durden says anything and goes, and his name was Tyler Durden. I was like, oh, that's interesting, right? And that's when I started wondering my other one theory that maybe doesn't make any sense, but hey, I'm thinking about things while I'm watching them. Like, is Tyler Durden like a guy, one of his single serve friends that he met one time and like took, like, did he go this? Is Tyler Durden like a real guy, like that he met one time? Do you know what I mean? And then he made the rest.
Did you watch the movie?
Yes.
Did you watch? No, you didn't. You did not pay attention to
I
it.
watched
because
the
if you watched
entire movie.
There's a whole line on that. Brad Pitt goes, I'm the version of you that you wish you could be. Tyler can be all the things that you are not.
So he just
And that's
made
how
he
it's,
made
like,
up
made.
the name Tyler Durden?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
And
maybe
it's
he
the
met
reason
a
why
guy
if you
named Tyler.
watch them, if you watch the whole movie, they're like, I just
whole
Googled this
movie.
because I was like, is there any significance meaning to the subtle clips of Tyler Durden appearing before he's even introduced in Fight Club? And it's like, these frames serve as a narrative
What are
device
you,
to foreshadow his
ChatGPT me
existence,
right now?
symbolizing his growing influence and the factoring of the narrator's mind before the full reveal of Durden and his alter ego. Just admit that you barely paid attention, Mike.
Mike, I will tell you this. When the credits started, and it was like that super fucking turn of the century, like, hey, we're going to have the credits go through some CGI lines, like this is X-Men or Spider-Man, or like every movie did that. I was like, well, I'm going to make some food. So maybe if someone said at the very beginning, I came up with the name Tyler Durden on my own, I apologize.
You didn't even watch it.
Like I did. Look at this. All right, you want to get into it? Let's talk about this specifically and why I think the movie fails at the end. Okay, and it's because
You know what I'm not shocked of is you actually liking it or anything for that matter. But go on.
okay. Well, do you want me to give a compliment to the movie?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
I do.
I think
I think it deserves a compliment. It's not a classic for
I think well,
no reason.
I think the ending of the movie is why so many people don't understand the movie. But
well, I mean, yeah, obviously.
but there is so much. It's the funniest thing. I watched it like twice. I'm like, well, if you don't get it right now, you're not going to get it at any point. And they're on the bus, right? They're on the scene of the bus, and it's like Edward Norton being like, "We're the toughest dudes around. We're tight or whatever, right?" And like we're sizing everyone up as they get on the bus, and some guy walks in and like bumps into him, and Edward Norton doesn't do anything. Instead, Brad Pitt like taps and is like, look at that Gucci model. He's not a real man. He doesn't do he's like, it's not about self-improvement. It's about self-harm. Or smash cut to Brad Pitt. Just the most fucking cut up dude that's ever been cut up in like the entire history of movies. And it's like, this satire is so like obvious, right? Like Tyler Durden is clearly like so material, right? Like in that like he's the coolest looking dude, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
what was your point? What was your critique there?
what do you mean? What if you get off your fucking phone? Are you joining the Patreon?
I'm literally writing. Like I'm writing. Here's what it said. He's talking in circles because he did not watch the film.
I'm explaining to you an exact fucking scene from the movie, shot by fucking shot. You're not listening.
You said you were going to give it a compliment. In what way is that the compliment?
Yeah, I think that's a great. I think that's a.
So you're saying
moment.
that's why it's quintessential to the times. It like I can agree with
No, no,
that.
no,
I
no, no,
think
no, no. No, my exact point there was like sometimes people are like, people will say like a movie has a message and it's like muddled or not muddled. Like you talk about like Starship Troopers and people are like they didn't get it, and I'm like they're dressed as Nazis. How did you not get it? Right? Like, but like, uh,
uh-huh.
but like Fight Club, like sometimes like because of like the ending and stuff, I think would be my guess having now watched it when people are like, well, you know, it actually is like reinforcing like the things that it claims it doesn't like or whatever. But like I was like, oh no, it's pretty like on its face that like this guy's stupid and dumb and like his idea is bad, right? Like from the beginning, right? Like
Well, yeah, I mean, the man has insomnia. He's clearly not like a I don't know. I
yes, but
think at the
like people
time,
people
if I
would
look back at the time, hear me out. At the time when this movie came out, mental health was not as well known as it is today. So maybe it hits different because in that aspect of it's like I see through the dumb goofiness of that because like if you really are because in the hospital when he says I am he talks to the guy and he says I just need sleep and he won't give him any medicine because he said you need to get all natural sleep. That would never happen today because we're so much more accepting of like mental health and
no,
stuff,
I'm
trauma that
talking
could happen.
I'm
No,
talking
but that
specifically.
and your I don't. But you fucking just let me finish, okay? My point is, you watch it today in an environment that is more accepting of mental health. It makes more sense as a movie, as opposed to back then when it was all taboo to even talk about like if he had ADD or not. My thing is like that I think is the generational shift of those movies, right? Because most of us, when we watched it and like it shapes your life, you're like, you just said it. When we watched it back then, it was Brad Pitt cut with blood. I know the scene you're talking about where his abs are showing. You're like, that's a cool dude. That's the quintessential
Okay,
dude, right?
okay,
But the
okay,
reality of
okay,
the whole
okay,
movie is about mental health. You
okay,
kind of just
okay. In my,
help me
my
solve it.
yes, yes. And my point is like, oh no, Brad Pitt is not presented by the movie as cool at any point, right? Like that
but we took that
that
away
was
from it.
13-year-olds bringing like that's 13
Yeah.
year olds bringing Brad Pitt being cool in that movie, right? Like the
That's what
movie
I
is
mean. Yeah, because
explicitly
that's when
like
we saw it. Yeah.
this guy's a dumb jackass that doesn't like believe any of the things he's actually, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
I mean, realistically, the reason it doesn't work is because Brad Pitt should not be playing Tyler Durden. Like, name an actor who looks like Frank Burrithal should be playing Tyler Durden as the Punisher to be like, oh, you're clearly not a good dude. You know, like
yeah, like I think that
Brad Pitt's doing it. It's like I'm fun and zany, and I'm fucking chicks want to bang me, and I'm banging Martha. You know, like
yeah, I think Brad Pitt is maybe like too charismatic for the role, perhaps.
a little bit
Like I
probably.
think that like maybe the thing is like,
He,
well, no, it is cool when Brad Pitt's saying this shit because Brad Pitt just like is like he moves cool, he sits cool, he talks cool, right? You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
like
and I think if you think about his career during this point in time for him, this was kind of like right, when Chris Pratt got Guardians of the Galaxy. Like he was just about to blow up. I think that was right around the time where he was like really catching on.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think this is like I think this is like one of his big first, not like his big first roles, but like his big first roles are like Thelma and Louise and stuff. He was like the dude boy. He was like the heartthrob dude, right? It was like you need a
Yeah.
young guy to come in and have people go, "Oh, look at this young guy," right? I think was kind of like his shtick or his area or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. This is when like Vince Vaughn went back to horror, you know?
yeah,
Like he got to start in horror and then whenever like nobody thinks he's funny for a while, he goes back to do horror.
yeah. Well, he did like
It's actually a fun fact about Vince Vaughn movies that most people don't know. They just think he hasn't done anything in a while. It's like if you haven't seen Vince Vaughn do anything funny in a while, go
it's
look. I guarantee you'll find he's done some
he's
sort of horror
doing some
movie.
VOD. Well, no,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
this is not about the. I have one more thing to say about. Well, I have another thing I want to bring up about the movie, but yeah. Did you see they brought him and Owen Wilson back to do like a commercial for like who the fuck knows, right? Like Direct TV
Weddings
or
Crashers.
whoever the fuck, right? And it's like no, like this is the thing I'm talking about. They're trying to cash in on Wedding Crashers, and I'm like, no, you already did that. It was that Google movie. You don't get to like
It
double
was.
cat like what people you need to remember that like they did this already bad. Like, you know what I mean? It's like they come back and they're like, we're rebooting Terminator. I'm like, you already rebooted Terminator, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're getting Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn back together. It's like, no, you already did, and we didn't like it, and we don't not gonna like it better as a commercial, but maybe we do. I don't know, but Mike, I do want to talk about the end, and like,
okay,
this is why I'm like, it's weird. I was sitting there watching it, and I like, it feels like there's a point where it cuts. I even looked, and again, the internet's broken, so I don't know. Maybe it's like the difference between the book and the movie or something. But it does feel like after he shoots himself, they like rewrote it or something. Cause like, it's just like, he's like really bad off. And all of a sudden I thought to myself, man, he's doing pretty well for a gunshot wound victim or whatever. And then it just like,
I thought that too.
And
like
then
a
it just
gunshot to
goes
the neck.
fucking great from him from that moment forward. Like, the last thing his dudes say to him is like, yeah, man, he's one tough motherfucker. Like, everyone just thinks he's cool and awesome. And he gets the girl. It's like a weird rom-com. He's like, you met me during a weird time. As like, I don't know. I guess.
Well, and all the buildings are blowing up.
I know. Like, it's like, this is a little more than that, right? And I understand that, like, I don't know. It just felt, because like the movie had switched tones. The movie had decided that he wanted to stop all this from happening, and that he was like trying to prevent it. And he made the decision he's going to kill Tyler Durden off because what's happening is wrong. And then all of a sudden he's just like, nah, it's cool.
He actually doesn't. He actually doesn't. He actually. The real reason that he does what he does is because he loves Martha.
Why did you say that name?
Or he likes Martha. He does think that it is
There
wrong.
are some other Batman v Superman references in this movie. If we want to talk about it, but that's not her name, is it? It's not Martha.
Marla, sorry, Marla.
Marla.
But no, he does. I think at the end of the day, it's because it's about protecting Marla. It always has been. As much as he wants to do the right thing, like, it's because of Marla, because he knows that Marla is. He even says that he has to go around and tell the crew members. They think that she's a threat, and that's why he's always
well, like
that's
what I mean. Is like, in her, like, I understand she's crazy too, but like her characterization on a fucking dime, like the last thing they do, he says, he puts her on the bus, and she's like, I'm keeping this money because you're a pain in the ass. He's like, I'll never see you again. And then she comes up. She's brought up there by like the thugs who hijacked the bus and brought her there. And she comes up to him so fucking mad as shit. Like, how dare you? And it cuts to a different angle. And she's like, oh my God, you've been shot. And then it's just like all good. Everything's all good. It's never mentioned again. He's just like, bros, I'll meet you downstairs. I'm going to watch this thing blow up with my chick. And I'm just like, the movie wasn't headed for this. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it does end weird. I'm not going to say that it doesn't. I don't know how the ending should go in the book, and maybe that's what it is. But I mean, it stinks to me as like
it just
a movie that doesn't know how to close it.
Yeah, it just feels like he should have been happy it happened or mortified it happened, but he's kind of like.
Also, if I'm shooting myself in the neck, regardless if I kill the other, borderline personality. Bad.
How does that happen?
Other side, like,
this is a real.
I don't know, but the point is, take me to a hospital. Like, I'm clearly going to die. His neck.
And like, it is just like, it does feel like he shoots himself directly in the fucking head.
Dude, it's like right here.
I don't know,
right through his back. But then it shows the back of Brad Pitt's head just blown out completely. So it's like metaphorically blows his head out, but he shot himself in the neck.
And you think maybe he's going to live long enough to tell everyone to stop or like to save Marla. Or maybe it's going to be a super sad ending and she's going to get killed in front of him. I'm not like saying it has to end a certain way. It just like ends though. And like just tone shifts for like 3 minutes or something at the very end. And they're like, they just had to, they had to rap that day or something. I don't and then like the song choice, it feels like that song would be okay if the ending was like sad and then you like play like that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fine.
I agree. I mean, like, I think the movie is great until the ending because it he didn't stop Project Mayhem. It happened. Like, it happened. He
Yeah.
didn't stop it. All the buildings blew up.
They were all empty though. They were all empty. Very Batman
Yeah, but
v
I mean,
Superman
that was the
again.
point. That was still point. That was part
Well, they had
of
to
Project
delete the
Man.
debt records. I do love the, like, again, I really like the start of it. I think that, like, I really miss, like, the 90s, early 2000s, like, just get a movie fucking going for the first hour. You know what I mean? Here's who I am. Here's what I do. Here's some stuff happening with me. You know what I mean? We're like,
I mean, I do respect. I mean, that was movie magic because we all walked away being like, "That was a great movie." No idea what happened, but a great movie. You know. And now you rewatch it and you're like, still no idea what happened, but I still got to say, like, there were parts of it I liked.
yeah, you know,
So
it's
I don't know.
It's a thing that's missing from, like, modern stuff is, like, some slick shit every now and then. Every now and then, the camera's doing some slick shit. There's a slick edit. Like, you know what I mean? There's just some stuff happening every now and then that's very interesting, right?
Whereas, Mike,
like,
and now this is, I got a question for you. It's some very slick shit. All right.
slick
About
shit.
Fight Club. Here, one I'd like to talk about. There is a scene where Edward Norton is fighting and he's just beating the heck out of this dude to the point where, like,
It's the one where he slams the
definitely
guy's
tell.
head into the ground. Doesn't
It's
so-
the one where he just keeps hitting and, like,
Okay.
teeth come out and he gets up and Brad Pitt as Tyler Durden goes, "Where'd you go, psycho boy?" And he goes, "I felt like destroying something beautiful." The person's face that he destroyed, who is that actor? If you watched it.
Is that when he messes up Jared Leto's face? Because Jared Leto's face is
Yes.
all fucked up at the end,
It
which
is
I
all
enjoy.
fucked up. Speaking of Jared Leto,
Oh, I'm like,
that brings us on to our next
I did have
subject.
one more thing to say, but I'll play. Actually, no, I gotta bring. I'd rather do this and talk about Tron Ares and Jared Leto. When he's in the scene with his boss, right? When he's like,
Yeah.
the boss is like, "What's this piece of paper or whatever?" and he's giving him the guff. I couldn't help but think, and it is the same year. That's how I know this is '99 because I looked up about Office Space, and like this, it felt so similar to me of like this idea of like this. Like the scene, right? And just like the exact, like almost like opposite ways that it goes, right? Of like
Yeah.
in this one movie just being like the answer is all the aggression, and the other movie being like man, just lay back and go fishing.
Yeah.
But moreover, it
yeah.
had me thinking about. Then I thought about the Matrix, and I don't know what it is, Mike, but I want to throw it to you to think about for like another thing to do. But like this, like. Right there in like 1999, early 2000s, like these guys in like the office trying to find a way to escape the office, right? Like, like right at the turn of the century, like it's what Office Space is about. It's like kind of what this is about. And if you think about it, like the Matrix is kind of about that, right? Like it's about a guy whose life's so fucking boring and he's stuck in like a cubicle place working on a computer, right? You know what I mean? Like they have similar workspaces is what I'm saying. And I mean, I know they're the same era. I don't know. There's something there. I don't know. Mike, I just wanted to mention it to you.
Yeah, well, that's why they make theories about it.
All right, Jared Leto and Tron, boo. Not boo. Boo him.
Boo. Next
boo
subject.
him.
No.
Boo this man.
Boo.
Boo this man.
Okay. We're not going to talk about Disney's
I really
Tron
like
reboot.
I like
Jared
that
Leto.
middle one.
I don't care.
I like the middle one.
I don't care.
The Daft Punk soundtrack is banging. Anyway.
Okay, so Seth Rogan won a bunch of Emmys for The Studio. I haven't watched The Studio on Apple Plus, mostly because I refused to buy it. But have you seen any of it? Have you seen the trailers?
I'm aware of it. I haven't seen it. Mostly because I don't know. Like I bet it doesn't hit hard enough, right? The second that I heard that like the names of the people that they got to like guest star, it's like, oh, well, like how hard could this be, right? And I also
won like 5 Emmys.
I don't know. I know what a review I heard of it that I'll bring up, I guess, is it was from like the Red Letter Media guys, and they were talking about how I guess in the plot at some point he has to like pitch a Kool-Aid movie. And they're like, well, isn't this ridiculous that like there's this Kool-Aid movie? But they're like, well, this isn't parody because I guarantee you someone's working on a Kool-Aid movie, right? Like it doesn't,
right.
The things I've seen don't make it sound like it hits hard enough, right? It's like it's by a studio, or you know what I mean? That kind of thing is like why.
Studio by a
But
studio.
but like that's the thing. First of all, the Academy and all these people, they love movies and TV shows about movies and TV shows, and that elevate the importance of movies and TV shows. And I bet this packs the exact right amount of punch for them, right? Like I bet it's like, you know what I mean? I bet
This
it's not
is
Harvey
hilarious.
Weinstein
It's about
jokes the whole
us.
time. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right,
Kool-Aid
right.
Man
Okay.
jokes. But
So you're
what are
saying,
your
like,
thoughts
Seth
on it, Mike?
MacFarlane- Man, it seems kind of funny. I don't know. You kind of hate everything. I mean, I think it gives you that pineapple. I think it gives
But you
you
haven't
moments
seen
that
it.
are funny. Well, I mean, I've seen trailers where like Zoe Kravitz is eating like 3 pounds of shrooms, and Dave Franco's like, "That's not a thing." You haven't seen that trailer for it?
No, I haven't seen
Oh,
that
you should
trailer.
watch it. I think the take on it's all wrong, to be honest with you. I think you need to go watch the trailer and think. To me, I get like, oh, this is like Pineapple Express
But you haven't
type
seen it.
humor. I haven't either, but I've seen a trailer that definitely is the opposite of what you're telling me. Which
Okay.
is the Red Letter Media guys.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to get Apple TV Plus, so it's like it's a moot question.
I'm not
to me
either.
whether
So
I
I'm
would
allowed to
watch
fucking
it.
argue with you about your negative attitude on everything.
Okay, well,
And
I can
Seth
argue with you
Rogen-
about your positive attitude on everything. Mike. Also, I don't think I have a negative attitude on everything.
No, you only like Star Wars, and that's it.
I don't like
And
Star.
I don't even think you like Star Wars. I think you kind of hate it.
I do kind of hate Star Wars. Why are you
I
why are
think-
you only bringing up things I don't like?
Because I think the only thing that Mike Bedont will like, because he is the Kanye West of cartooning. I think that he will only like his own show. Like it's a Dave Chappelle bit when he's like, "Well, I was hanging out with Kanye and we just went over his house and he kept playing his own songs, and he'd sing to him, like."
Well, I mean, what do you?
It's
mean
like, man, I'm fucking awesome.
Like I'm looking at my HBO Max. Right? Would you like to talk about all the things I've watched that I've enjoyed?
Yes,
Okay.
let's go through it.
Okay, well let me look and see. Okay, I watched. Well, I didn't like that, but okay, I was watching some Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Fucking funny. The Moonanites, bro.
I told
Do you remember
you-
the
I
Moonanites?
told you Aqua-
Do
yes,
you
Aqua Teen.
remember the fucking Moonanites?
Yes.
Here's a clip
Yes.
of the Moonanites.
Yes. My name is Cliff, and that's not a bill. Tell him,
That's a bill.
a bill. Why are we trying to cash a bill,
Hell, I don't know. It's your uncle. I kept telling you on the way down
It
here.
is my uncle. Don't you
On
forget
the
it.
way down, I kept saying, this is a bill. Just figured you knew something I didn't.
I did know something I didn't. But it wasn't that.
Okay, love the
Yeah.
Moonanites. Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown. You don't like it probably, but I love Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown.
You
and his
only
other
like
ones.
you only like Anthony Bourdain because he's like dark and like doesn't like most things. You like a guy.
What do you
who
mean?
doesn't
He
like
loves
most
loves
things.
all these foods. I mean, he killed himself, but like I don't know. I like.
Did he love
do
him?
that.
He didn't love him that much.
Well, Deadwood, it's okay. It's better than Hell on Wheels.
Okay, keep going.
Moto Mythbusters, trash, garbage.
Ugh.
Mike, would you like me to hate on Moto Mike or Moto
What even is
Mythbusters?
that?
I'll watch a Mythbusters every now and then, as you hate. And for whatever reason, it just popped up. It said Moto Mythbusters, and it has not one of the two main dudes, but one of the build dudes. And so I went to look at unfucking watchable, like garbage, the fucking hottest garbage trash I've ever. You want me to like it, Mike? You want to fucking like this show?
No,
Is that
I
what you
love
want me
that.
to-
I love this bit. I love this
God.
bit. You just
Anyway.
listed off everything and keep going. What else you got?
DC's Creature Commandos. Don't like
How
it.
was that?
Don't
Okay.
like it. I don't know. It's just the Suicide Squad again. I don't know, but a
Okay.
cartoon. I guess it's fine. The animation's kind of cool. Whatever. Peacemaker. We'll talk about it later. Like in Peace. Not as good as season 1, but boys, it's fun. It's a fun show. Common Side Effects, Mike. Quasi
Common side
enjoying.
effects.
Quasi enjoying.
I am too. And you know who gave you that reference, Mike?
You. Would you like to talk
Exactly.
about it?
I would. I'm on episode 2. I finished like half of it. At first you turn on that show and you see that it was Emmy nominated or whatever nominated.
Working on
And you're
you,
like,
buddy.
maybe. Dude, listen. You have to understand. There has to be an index to
There has to be something.
compare
I
to.
understand. Yes, I get it.
I don't always agree with it, but like it does get my attention. Much like when they put like, oh, New York Times bestseller. Like, it's a bestseller for a reason. It may not be the reason I like it, but it's a reason that's
You need
the
you need
majority of
some
people
metric
like
in a
it.
world
You gotta
with
have a
like
metric. You have
the,
to.
the metric can't be their fucking made up like genres or whatever. It's like, hey, spunky hero leads, or whatever their
Yeah,
lead
I mean,
categories are. Yeah.
so I think it's fun. Common side effects. First off, one, didn't know Mike Judd did it until like I see it at the end, and I was like, okay, well that gives me hope.
Wait, so is
Mike
he
Judd, for all the listeners out there, that he did, King of the Hill.
King of the Hill,
He's also
Beavis
the
and Butthead,
boss.
probably a bunch
Yeah.
Silicon Valley, but he is he involved like in the show, or is he just a voice? Because it says created, it doesn't say created by him. I don't know if he's just. I love what he's doing. Whatever this weird quasi Hank Hill guy he's playing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's like a CEO Hank Hill is what it sounds like. But I think just in general, the way they animate the characters just feels different. Like
it's very cool. It feels almost like I don't know. I'm not. I don't know animes and stuff, but it feels almost like the good ones, right? Like the the ones that Spirited Away or something. Like there's something about how it feels like they're hand drawing it, or they're at least tricking me enough into like feeling like they're hand drawing some of it.
And I was gonna say that like the straight up face angle shots on cartoons drawn like this, I don't know why it's like so believable. It's done really well.
It's very good. It's very subtle. It makes me very sad at some of the drawings I was doing while I was watching it, as you're looking at now, maybe. But no, I thought it looked really cool, and I'm always happy to look at something that looks cool, because so often things don't look cool, which is like
also, the more I watch this show, I mean, there's nothing really to spoil, but it just keeps getting zanier and zanier, which is fun too.
Yeah, I guess if we get caught up, I don't know. I don't like the title sequence. I think it feels AI-ish to me. But anyway, I'll leave that alone. Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep watching a little bit. I'm not entirely sure
so
what's going on.
Yeah. What else you got though?
I got Rick and Morty. Have you seen the show Rick and or Morty?
I have. I obviously liked it for a long period of time throughout the show, and then it's still good.
I've watched a couple episodes of the newest season. Of season 8, I think it is. So I've seen. Where have I seen to? Yeah, they're all fine so far. I think.
Yeah, I mean they're good. I think after what like Rick defeats his arch nemesis, I think in season 6 or 7, it's all kind of like, well, what do we do now?
The one where they're trapped in a matrix. I was thinking to myself,
that was pretty good though. That was like the phone charger there.
But like I think it's funny because I was like late to Rick and Morty and stuff. So, but like the joke was everyone keeps saying they want classic Rick and Morty adventures, right? And I was thinking to myself, they're stuck in a matrix and like, it's weird separated or whatever. But as I started thinking, I was like, no, like this is classic Rick and Morty. This is what's currently happening, right? In a way that like sometimes people will like talk about something like The Office, and like when they're talking about like classic episodes of The Office, they're talking about episodes they're talking about like some of the later seasons. But if you look at like the totality of like The Office and the number of episodes they were making in those later seasons, that is the majority of The Office, right? And like Rick looking for the guy that killed it, if they keep going like this, like that'll just be like, hey, remember the first few seasons of Rick and Morty when they did this? Like, they've been picked up for a very long time more, I think, right? Like Rick and Morty's not going anywhere
today that says like Rick and Morty, which is just bullshit. There's no way. Maybe, but they were saying like the 10th season is going to be the last season, and I'm like, no, I just don't think they're going to let something that successful die, unless they get like a shitload more money. Right?
It seems like, I don't know, maybe like we've now seen it before, so we can just sit here, Mike. Like we now live in the future, and we need to stop pretending like we don't live in the future. And like, welcome to the moment, right? It happened to The Simpsons. It happened to, I guess South Park's coming back, whatever, right? But like, there's like a moment where like a Family Guy, whatever, we're like, oh no, now it's a formula. Like there is a structure that's making this show, right? And as I'm watching some of these episodes, I am thinking to myself, like, oh, well, like, this is the that episode, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
in a way that's like, oh, that's this one of this season, right? Like,
Yeah, like a Morty Mind Blower or
yes, right?
Interdimensional Cable, yeah.
And of course, they used to do those, and they used to like put a hat, like, I guess maybe there's too many hats on them now, or what I think it kind of is I think they're trying to obfuscate that they're doing it more, right? You know, like the whole time they were in that Matrix one, I'm like, oh, wasn't it been in a bunch of Matrixes? But like, I don't remember them making a bunch of references about it in the way I feel like they would have used to. And I don't know, maybe that's just me, that they're just kind of being like, well, for 10 more seasons, we can't every Matrix episode reference every Matrix episode, guys. That'll take up the entire episode, right? Whereas maybe
That's true, yeah.
in season 3, when you're making the fucking show you want to make or whatever, or trying to make or whatever, like, no, man, that's more time we can talk, right? It's clear that like in some of those episodes, it's just like a guy in a booth talking for a bit and then they send it to Korea, right? Like, do you know what I mean? Two brothers, right? Like,
yeah, but I missed that aspect of it because I thought that was funny.
Yeah, no, I think
yeah, two brothers.
I think one of the things, it's almost too slick. Maybe is that like it's a little too polished. Maybe
I think.
Not that I'm not enjoying it. This is the things I'm enjoying.
It's still good. Don't get me wrong, but I think the difference between when Justin Roiland was on it and versus where he was off is that there was that little bit more of like improv factor that like what I think would lead you to more like avenues with Rick that I guarantee you that the creators of the show struggle with now.
I think part of the problem production wise, and let's talk about the Economy Nothing cartoon real quick, right? Is that it seems like by happenstance or whatever, and I think I talked about it with you last season, they ended up like making a bunch of episodes where Rick and Morty don't really interact very much and not like they normally would, right? And
yeah.
So when they do interact, there probably isn't that bounce that Justin Roiland would have, right? And so they need to cultivate these two people together, right? Because like Justin Roiland, you have to assume at some point he's planning ahead, right? He's improvising, you'd guess, but like he is Rick and Morty, so he can say a setup as Morty for him to deliver as Rick. That like
right.
It's almost not improv in that way, right? Which like you can't do with two people trying to improvise with each other, but you need to like get them in the booth and have them start doing that with each other, or like you're never going to get back to that, right? Like it just does like
and I think that's why they doubled down on all the side characters. And I have been pleased with that. Like I like the Jerry episode where like it's like Jerry going through the multiverse. I
think it's super like. I think the Jerry episode, I think I'm up to that. That one's good. Like there's none of them that I like objectively like didn't like or whatever. It's like, oh cool, I like Rick and Morty and I'm glad there's more Rick and Morty. But if this is the level of Rick and Morty, I think they could do 22 episodes a year, right? Like industry this thing out, right? Like this is not.
Yeah, they could stretch it out. There were there's no consequences anymore.
Yeah, there were no Mikey mind blowers. Do you know what I mean? Not like. Which is fine, but like, it's weird, right? If it goes like this, then somehow there's like, it started not very serialized, got like serialized for like a bit, and then just like went off, right? But I mean, if you think about the last thing I'll say is like, I was thinking about South Park a lot lately, and I was thinking about like, remember a while, like I think they're getting serialized-ish again or whatever, right? But they were never serialized. And then they like did it for a bit, like a while back, and then they stopped doing it, right? And then they like came back to it. So I don't know. Maybe they'll come back. But yeah, I don't know. There is an episode, I kind of didn't finish it, but it felt like it was what is it? They're back in the Citadel follow-up, which I guess kind of. But that was like it wasn't a follow-up though, right? Like it was just like some Citadel people. Like,
I mean, I guess they could always come back and like Evil Morty. They could always finish up with Evil Morty. But like you don't want to pull that thread unless you're really done with the show.
But here's the
That's
problem. Like, here becomes the problem, right? Like,
yeah,
you got to pick one, though. You have to, like, if this is the show that you want to keep doing and want it to remain serialized, you have to pull the evil Morty card and then come up with a better idea. Like, the fucking Walking Dead. They had the governor, and then instead of being like, and now the showdown, and then next season you come up with another idea. They said, no, we're not going to cut, you know what I mean? Like, you just...
Yeah.
You either have to do it like G.I. Joe and Cobra, and they're always going at each other every week, or you got to Dexter their ass and come up with a new guy the next season, right? Like...
You're not wrong, Mike.
I rarely am.
All right. On this week's episode of the Economy of Nothing podcast, we talk about Fight Club. Did Mike Bedont AKA Captain Tracy actually watch the movie?
It's fucking crazy you don't think I watched this goddamn movie, Mike. I fucking record this. It's fucking bullshit, frankly.
Anyways, what else happened this week on the Economy of Nothing? Bitcoin and the economy of choices. Also, on the Economy of Nothing, Mike Bedont got HBO, and we go over the shows that he liked or disliked. One of them being Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and the other being Rick and Morty. We talked about common side effects, Mike's unemployment and how's it going, Seth Rogan on Apple TV and his new show that neither of us watched, and how Jared Leto's a little bitch. All right.
Fuck Jared Leto.
That's it for this week.
Hey, we need subscribe,
You say it.
Share, economyofnothing.com, patreon.com/economyofnothing. Email us, email us, Gmail us, send an Gmail. Send us an
a stroke?
Send me an Gmail. Will you send me an Gmail, so? Economy Diesel Kapilsabum.
Oh my god. Are you
Economy
okay?
of Nothing at gmail.com. Economy of Nothing
at
gmail.com.
Thank you for all the listeners and subscribers and commenters out there. We love you, and we'll talk to you later.
Not enough to tell you at the beginning that we love you, but all right. Goodbye, everyone.
Well, who starts a conversation that way? That's just a bit much. All right. But anyways, all right, peace.